You may disagree, but up to me, it's a fact. They're paying running backs. It ain't no fun in that. Yeah, the sermon about to start, so I hope you know your stats. And if Kev get it wrong, then Rashad gon' have his back with the facts. Matter of fact, all we do is say wins. When wings, congregation say amen. Trades, debates, wins, losses, the latest news, but Prophet Kev speak, he got him saying hallelujah.
Welcome to Preach Kev Preach with Rashad. We are the Prophets. Another episode, another sermon coming at you from Wildcard Sports here on Wildcard TV. Rashad, bro, what's going on?
Shooting nothing much, man. Just back at it, bro. Back on the grind.
And how was the trip to Mexico, man? We missed you last week.
Oh, vacation is always good, man. It's always good. Just get away and enjoy life a little bit, man.
Nah, I feel you about that. I got it. It's a lot of things I want to do. I'm trying to take it easy a little bit because I'm trying to do a little saving. But I realize sometimes, hey, money comes and goes, time don't. So so I like that you went on vacation, had a good time, man, and glad you made it back safe.
Oh yeah, we can always get into, as long as you're working and side hustles, all that kind of stuff, stocks, investments, you can always make some money back. But time, you can't. There's no store or app that allows you to buy more time. So might as well just enjoy life while we can.
Facts. Preach that. All right, man. Let's get into the show, man. Last week went to the playoffs about each, different matchups and stuff like that. So now we got a little sample size around, and first before we get into the NBA side, we're gonna talk about Julio Jones, man. My boy said he out of there on live TV. First off, man, I see a lot of people shaming Shannon Sharp about it, about quote unquote exposing Julio on live TV, but I feel like my boy know if your relationship is that close. He air in the morning time. If he calling you on a weekday in the morning, what he doing. And I'm saying here, I don't get it, because if Julio Jones didn't want that information out, he would never have answered the phone. Or he never would have said what he said. He would have did the more approach. But I feel like he just don't give a damn.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that is tricky just because of. All right, the show, they're in LA, so you got the California consent law as far as somebody being recorded while on a live phone call. So you got that aspect of it. Then you got just the relationship aspect of it. Shannon's been around for a minute, and he knows how the media can push narratives or put stories out there that guys want out there. And as one of the best tight ends ever, he's developed relationships with so many receivers and offensive players and coaches throughout his career and post-playing career, guys like Julio. A lot of guys call him Unc. So, I mean, I would hope that him and Julio do have that kind of. Of course, he has his number, and he did just kind of cold call him. So, right. I would hope they have that kind of connection where, hey, I'm gonna call my guy. I'm gonna call nephew up. See if I can get him on the air to talk about, tell Skip your Cowboys trash. We're not trying to go there. There's just stuff like that. So you got to think they do have that kind of relationship where they can talk freely about certain stuff.
Yeah.
Now, as far as him saying, "Hey, I'm out of there on the Falcons," I mean, I would think they close enough where all right, my dude might be on TV, and you can hear Skip making comments in the background. So clearly, you can hear somebody else is in the room or around. And then when you hear Skip in the background, you got to think, all right, he might be on TV. Let me watch what I say. Or, all right, if it's this time on the East, it's this time on the West, so I know he on TV. Even if I'm not watching, I know he on TV.
That. Yeah.
And, during commercial break, Shannon might have sent dude a text hey, I'm going to hit you and see. I want to ask you something. We on the air. We never know the full dynamic of that conversation and what their relationship is. But I would think if there was some issue, Shannon would have came on TV and apologized about it to Julio, to the Falcons, to somebody. But I think they're cool. I mean, we know Julio's always been an upstanding guy when it comes to the media, the Falcons, the league, all that kind of stuff. So
exactly,
I would think by him putting that out there, he's trying to speed up.
The process,
get me up out of ATL. That's probably how I go with guys.
I'm about
everything be behind the scenes, then they go public and still happen a lot faster.
I'm about to say same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Like he came out on draft day to say what he said. Same Julio. If Julio came before the early in the offseason and said trade me, and you don't trade me, well the season about to start soon. Like yeah, I need to go. So hey, what better way is to give your guy that you friends with, you have a relationship with, the opportunity to break the story first? I mean, people do that all the time. Like Josina Anderson breaks so many reports because she texts somebody and they told her. All right, I'm gonna say this.
Okay, yeah, I mean cool. This is how it is. Like that's how the media works. Like these people are in these locker rooms and they develop connections with certain people, and that's kind of how stories go. I mean, guys like Stephen A's been around, so when there was something with Melo came up or AI came up, these are his guys. He got the inside scoop, the intel on these guys, or
exactly.
It's just. Ahmad Rashad has the inside scoop on Kobe. Malika Andrews, she's close, with Kyrie, or Taylor Rooks, she's close with people like KD, or people that LeBron's close to, Brian Windhorst. Like everybody has people they just can help push their narrative per se.
You gotta have it. Yeah, you gotta have it, and that's always like everybody coming at him. So I guess now the topic is like now that you sped the process up for the Falcons. But see, it's like either way. So all right, so I guess there's two sides of this.
It's not able to sped it up. It just that it's public now because like you can agree to trades.
As far as like a lot of teams calling, like all right,
and like they could have been calling because you can agree to like I know people got like the fictional June 1st deadline when you can make trades official, all that kind of stuff. But that's just for like salary cap reporting where people can take the hit for certain teams,
right? And
then you won't inherit the whole money. But you could have been agreed to certain deals. So I mean, you would think they've been quietly and privately shopping Julio, but now it's more of an open bidding type of thing. It's like an auction now. Highest bid to get Julio.
Right, exactly. So I want to take it from Atlanta side because I know a lot of people are like sitting here blaming Falcons, I had people blaming Matt Ryan again. I'm like, come on, bro. But like, can we let the new GM work? Like let his new GM let him come in here and work and let him try to improve the roster. And honestly, he already did that. One, the previous regime drafted Calvin Ridley, and now he has burst into the scenes. I think, and you probably agree with this, that he can hold the number one spot. Like he proven this last season, like he can be. If you rank a top 20 receivers, you probably gonna put Calvin Ridley in there. So if he's a number one, you drafted Kyle Pitts, who everybody says is a can't miss prospect, and he's not really a tight end. He's a tight end and a receiver in a tight end body, and you had those two with Hayden Hurst, who's one of the fast tight ends in the league. You got Matt Ryan. You already escaping the Julio exit. You know what I'm saying? So like, why not trade him for something before he walks away? Because I think I remember him and Arthur Blank had like a under the table deal, and it never happened. So now Julio want to leave because of the money situation. Why would Atlanta pay somebody like Julio Jones at this point where you have to build the rest of the roster where you have a guy in Calvin Ridley who has that knack to be the number one receiver. So I mean, from the Falcons side, I mean, people want to blame a lot and whatever, but everybody can't stay with that one team. And Julio Jones already a Hall of Famer in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion. So he already did everything he could do. They got to the Super Bowl one time, should have won it, but things happen. But time to move on. Yeah,
they're at the point now where they have to just start unloading contracts. Like you paid Julio, you paid Matt Ryan, so those are the two guys you really have to move to get yourself out of cap hell, because that's what they're at. They're just cap strapped. So you have Ridley, you have Pitts. Hopefully, I mean, you're in a situation where are these guys true number one receivers, or are they just number one receivers because of the team they're on? I mean, I think that's a huge difference. Like some guys are elite number one receivers, and then some guys are just the number one receiver because of the team they own. Right. So, I mean, that's just going to be an interesting thing to play out with the Falcons. As far as the Julio thing, ideally, most when it comes to a player like this, you try to keep him out of your conference. So I don't think NFC wise they want to trade him within conference. So you're gonna probably start looking at AFC teams. I mean, he said clearly, I'm out of there and I'm trying to win. He made those two things very potent during that phone call.
That's hard.
I want to win. So when you're looking at teams that are on the cusp of winning, it's not that many. Plus, you have to look at that amount of teams and who has cap space.
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing. So, I'm not really sure where he'll land. I mean, you gotta trust.
Because
Falcons and Patriots have done some deals before. Muhammad Sanu, that was a fail, but you got to trust that connection between those two franchises. He could be leaning towards playing with Cam, going to play with Belichick. Yeah, Patriots are down right now.
But it's true. But Thomas Dimitroff was the connection, the former GM. So like, dude, you know.
But I still think that connection is still there. Like when you trade with certain teams, like you guys kind of have a mutual understanding because those relationships they go from top down. Like Arthur Blank and Robert Kraft, like they might have a little connection. So that kind of stuff can go.
Their connection is
top
Donald Trump.
Down.
Donald Trump is the connection.
Like, so I mean, you just got to think about it from all aspects. We know the Patriots have proven to be a winning franchise. They're kind of down right now when they're trying to rebuild it. And they do have about 14, 15 in cap space. They could fit Julio up under there. So flip a couple of picks, and you could probably get Julio there. Colts have cap space, but does Julio see them as on the cusp of winning the Carson Wentz experiment? How's that going to go? You got to look at that aspect of it. And that's just in the AFC that does have cap space. I mean, Ravens would be the ideal spot.
He did say Ravens, but I don't care what nobody say. The grass ain't greener, bro. On that part for quarterbacks. I don't care. Like passing.
Like Ravens would be the ideal spot, just because of the roster they have. And then you're thinking, Julio can go there, be the number one guy. And they have they're right there. We always say they need a receiver. They did draft a good receiver. Sammy, if he's healthy, can get you about 700 to 900 yards if he's healthy. So you got to just think the Ravens are the team that's closest to what he's saying as far as like a championship team. And they can probably finagle a couple of things to get their cap space to where it needs to be to acquire him before they have to start paying Lamar on that 5th-year extension. But NFC-wise, I don't see him going NFC. But if he was to go NFC and stay close to winning, you would have to lean Green Bay. And the 49ers could jump in there, but they do their own stuff with Jimmy G contract, trying to get him up out of there and some other stuff. So does he see Trey Lance as the next big thing? He ain't played the game yet. So I think he's probably going AFC. Patriots, Ravens, Colts will probably be the best bet.
I'm also looking at. I think you have to add Titans in that mix a little bit because because you got to talk about connections. The AJ Brown is voying for him, like come over here and with Tannehill, Derrick Henry. I mean they're consistently going to at least be 8-8, regardless. You know what I'm saying? So like, can they get that 10-11 win season? And in that division, I mean against the Colts that you mentioned, I mean they can win it pretty easily. So as far as like being in the playoffs. That could be that's a destination as well. You're talking about AJ Brown on one side, Julio on the other side, and you might get a lot of one-on-one coverages. Like maybe Julio want that because you can't leave the box not stacked with Derrick Henry right there, King Henry back there. So that's also a good option as well. So you're right though. If the NFC was to come into play, I'm saying looking through the teams, the Packers probably the only one that really makes sense. And like you said, the 49ers too, but the Packers really don't. If you want to fix the Aaron Rodgers situation, just give him Julio Jones. I promise you, he'd probably be all right. Like he probably wouldn't care. Like I'm good. Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, good. I mean 13-3 without Julio Jones. I mean you add that to the mix. I mean you probably going 13-3 again. So I mean that won't be a bad option. But like I said, it all depends on what Atlanta wants in return, which. That you want first round picks? How many you'll get? One, probably one. Yeah, one and a fourth or something like. I mean, so you're not really getting that much. But I mean, I guess it's like, what are you going to settle with? Or maybe you can find you a player in return that helps you somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not going to Titans. Titans don't have any money, so they can't even get in outside of.
They ain't got that much talent on the team to be having no money. It's a bad contract over there.
Titans don't have any money, and they need to fix their defense. So Titans, from a pairing up perspective, Henry, Julio both had an Alabama connection. AJ Brown idolized Julio. Tannehill's emerged as one of the, I think, a top 10, top 12 QB in the league. So from that optic, you would think, oh, that's a good fit over there. But they don't have any money. They can't. Yeah, they'll have to move. They'll have to move mountains to get Julio. So Titans can't even get in the sweeps. I think Titans are like 28th, 27th in cap space right now.
Yo,
They couldn't even get in the running for that.
Why do they have 3 linemen as their top cap hold? Like outside of Tannehill and Bayard, they got and Derrick Henry, you got 3 offensive linemen.
That's our King Henry doing his thing, man. They blocking for him.
I don't think you can say Titans have an elite offensive line though. Anyway, that's another story for another day.
It's up there the way King Henry been putting up these numbers in the last couple of years. It's definitely an elite offensive line.
That's some facts. So we'll see. I mean, like you said, the June 1st is the deadline. So
it's like a little artificial deadline where you can what teams will kind of take some of the cap hit. You won't take the entire cap hit.
So I assume if Atlanta's going to make a move, they're going to do it for June 1st. Obviously, why would you? If you're going to move at the end of the day, you're going to move him. Don't wait till June 5th when you have to take all the money. So they probably should be in some calls, and maybe by the time the show come out, he already got traded. So that's very possible as well. So we'll see about the Julio Jones. Maybe come back next week, with June 1st would be next time the show come out. So the second show. So maybe he'd be going somewhere. Let's switch gears to another freak of nature on the basketball court. The Bucks and Heat series. Giannis. Right now the Bucks are up 2-0 against Heat. They decimated the Heat game 2. And I tweeted, I said, how does Heat come out of the second quarter? Somebody said, game 3. They come, like, so I was like, okay, I mean, pretty much. Like, and so before game 1 was a great game. I feel like, came down to the wire. I think Giannis desperately needed to work on his free throw shooting. Because 1, he gets fouled too much. And 2nd, for some reason, he I don't know if you saw it, he grabbed the rebound and kept dribbling down the court instead of like passing the ball to Drew or passing to Chris Middleton. So obviously you want the ball, and you going like you the reason why it's a game. Like you make 3 of your free throws, the game's over with. So if you're not going to be a guy that's going to knock down the 3, I mean, are you really going to shack this thing your whole career and not make free throws? So, but the Bucks didn't shoot well at all game 1. So I kind of knew. Regression to the mean is a real thing. I figured I was going to come back. And game 2, Brian Forbes or Steph Curry. I don't know who that was. But the whole team just lit Miami Heat from the get-go. So now they're in game 3, desperation mode for Miami a little bit. But, your thoughts about, I guess, Miami Heat's chances potentially tying this series up in 3 and 4?
I mean, the Giannis free throw thing, that's going to probably plague him throughout his career.
Yeah.
And nobody is a complete player. I mean, LeBron James is either number 1, 2, or 3 on the greatest of all time list, and he's still barely
73 or something.
So I mean that's just one of those things where for some guys it's mental, for some guys it's technique. I mean, these are the best players in the world. I know they are practicing free throws. I mean, that's just part of your off-season program, working out with your trainer, after practice, after the game, before the game. Like, that's just stuff you're going to naturally practice. But for some guys in the game, just that pressure of the moment, technique, mental blocks, it can be a bunch of things for different guys. So free throw shooting, I think that's going to always be an Achilles heel of Giannis, the same way it is for guys like LeBron James. I mean, you can only get to a certain point where you're like, this is as complete as a guy's gonna get. That's just what it is.
But let me ask you this then. So is it gonna be games though where like he go close it out? I have yet to watch. Every time I watch it, like if I'm watching a game that coming down to the wire, I have yet to watch one where Giannis get fouled. Let's just say, like, some games you just make everything this game, like, but it'll balance out where you miss all of them. You know what I mean? Like it'll balance out. And I've never seen a game where he actually closed on free throw line. He go 1 for 2, 1 for 2, 1 for 2, over 2. Like I never see let me get 4 in a row real quick in the fourth quarter. Like I just never seen that part. Do you think he can have those type of moments, especially in the playoffs when everybody's waiting for you to take that next step?
I mean, he may get there at some point, here and there. He may have a game where it's just the stars are aligned and he's 6 for 6 and hit the last 2 to go up 4 or 5 and make it a 2-possession game, and they win the game. So there may be some games it's like that, but just big picture wise, I don't think that's going to be a staple in his game where you feel like, all right, we got this 6'10" freak. Mm. I mean, we can throw inbound the ball, throw it to him. He's going to the line. He's cashing out 2 every time. Like I just don't think that's part of his game. Would there be some plays where he gets fouled in the last 30 seconds and maybe hits 2 and to go up 4 or 5, that may happen. But I don't think that'll be a regular part of his game. Miami's just playing terrible. As far as like the season, they're 6 seed this year. They were 5 seed last year, so they're kind of in the same ballpark where they were last year. So
you a couple games of being 4 seed too, like
So they were just a tiebreaker away from being in the 4 seed playing next to Hawks. So just season conclusion wise on that front, they're in the same boat. Last year, you can kind of say they played well because of the bubble. I don't want to discredit them like that because you still got to play the games.
Yeah,
you still got to play the games, and they blitzed through. I don't say blitzed through, but they played every team tough, and they beat everybody last year. And you got a rematch of the Bucks this year. Game 1 was there for the taking. I don't know what happened on that Middleton play. I mean, I thought they should have probably had a different defender on him.
Well, no,
versus,
he got the switch, and that's what I think it was Ariza or Iguodala.
It was Ariza.
And they didn't.
Ariza had him on the shot, but I thought they should have had somebody. I thought they should have had something else where you play for the switch. So like if this switch happens, Jimmy would end up on the switch versus this guy.
Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero, which shouldn't have been in the game at that point. Not to make the defensive play. No, it's Man, first off, shout out to Chris Middleton, for the mid range jump shot. I mean, when it comes to jump shot, mid range, he one of the best in the league in that situation. But it's good to see him get out, get that shot going.
But the Heat, they all can blame themselves. I mean, the Heat, and I'm not talking about even this game. I'm not talking about the game. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the potential trade. Y'all could have had James Harden, but you kept for Tyler Hero. All you gotta do is throw Hero in the package, and you basically can get James Harden. Come on, it's Miami. James Harden would want to be in Miami.
Bro. I mean,
y'all could have put a package together. All they asked for is include Tyler Hero. Look, Hero had a decent year last year. Of course, the finals.
He's a good player. He's a solid. For the role that he gonna carve out,
he's a role player. Yeah, he's a role player.
Yeah.
But you could have got a superstar, all time great, but you want to keep a role player. So, and he's playing bad right now. So they got to hope Hero bounces back. And just through reports, he's not in high favor in the Miami branch right now.
Well, I mean,
he's turning around.
Well, he's also playing injured. He had a foot injury this year, and he's been in and out of the lineup the whole season. And maybe he's just not 100%. But I don't really think the Heat have enough this time because I think this is a different Bucks team. Because I think Bobby Portis, Brian Forbes, and of course Drew Holiday are like way different. Like that's because think about it. You can sit Giannis, you can sit Brook Lopez down. I was at the 5, and now you got Bobby Portis, and you still don't really lose that much from 3-point shooting, right? You bring Forbes in, he can shoot the 3. Like you just there's so many guys, and you got Drew Holiday, who is a much better player than Eric Bledsoe, and Eric Bledsoe can run offense, is fast, play good defense, but is he Drew Holiday like from top to bottom? And Drew Holiday is the reason why they brought him in, and I feel like Eric Bledsoe had like a lot of games where he was 2 for 13 and 3 for 11 and turning the ball over, giving Miami a lot of chances. And now you don't have that situation because Giannis can pass the ball, kick it out, and Holiday make the shot versus Eric Bledsoe. So I think that the Drew Holiday effect is kind of key in this fact, and that's why I said last week in the show I was like, X factor in the series is gonna be Drew because he won there last year, he's here now, and if that's the difference maker, the Bucks going to the next round. Do you see like if you had to make I guess like a little pie chart or something, like you think it's gonna go 2-2% wise, or you think Miami Milwaukee go ahead and take at least one?
I don't know if it'll go 2-2. I mean, I predicted 6 games to start the series before everything started. I picked it in 6. I don't know if it'll go 2-2 unless that Miami effect can, that South Beach Miami thing can kind of kick into play and hurt the Bucks on that front. But I know for sure Miami should win Game 3 just because when you play that bad, you have no way to go but up.
Yeah. And
then just after Game 1, I thought they should have won Game 1. So you could be looking at 1-1. So I think their confidence should still be there. But I'll take them in Game 3. Game 4 and 5 will be where the series gets interesting.
I think like this type of basketball series you always see all the time, like a very close game 1, the higher seed somehow gets it out of there, and that's your chance to steal. You get blown out game 2, but I feel like when you get blown out early in the game and you know you get punched in the mouth and you try second quarter, realize this ain't it. Like your miss, like you already like, okay, let's get ready for game 3. We focus already because it's 0-0 now. Like that's a better chance to come back versus like we start off the close together and then you blow me out at the end of the game or something like, you know, something or like another defeat that's very close. Like man, we so close and we still lost. Like, you know, that's more mental than getting blown out. Like so, I feel like you're probably right. Milwaukee do probably come out. I think so when you hear the show, game 3 is tonight on Thursday, and that's probably where Miami does win the game. But yeah, I feel like the Bucks thing is kind of hard to see because they shot terrible game 1, shot the hell like the lights out in game 2. So where will they fall game 3? That's a terrible, a really low floor, really high ceiling, and you notice that performance not going to happen again. But the floor could. So I guess it's kind of like does Milwaukee show up game 3 or not? And you know that's something we got to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean I think Miami will bounce back. I think they'll have one of those Miami meetings and they'll get back to it in game 3, and then game 4 will probably be a dogfight. And that's what we'll see. Is going to be a 2-2 or Milwaukee going home to close in 5.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's all right. So I want to do this real quick before we change subject. If Bucks win in 5 or sweeps, what is the Heat needs to do? Like what's the next for the Heat as far as like let's just say 5 and they get blown out in this series, like Oladipo on the shelf if he's coming back, not blah blah. What do they have to do to continue to like be a Eastern Conference playoff lock?
I think they'll be fine either way. I mean, Oladipo, that's up in the air, but you'll have other guys on the market you can go after. I mean, does Randall get an extension with the Knicks? Does he? Because I don't think his contract is fully guaranteed. So guys will be on the market. If Kawhi opts out, will he entertain Miami? Will he just say, "I just want to get my 4 or 5 year deal with the Clippers and stay"? You got DeMar DeRozan out there. You got Kyle Lowry out there. Like, there's going to be guys where they can make a play for, give them decent money, and I won't say form a big 3 or a trifecta, but they can kind of add some quality pieces to maintain a steady roster. So, because Philly, as long as they're healthy, they're good. Nets healthy, they're good. Mm-hmm. So Miami and the Bucks, as long as they have Giannis, they'll be a top 4 team. So now you're looking at how do we keep ourselves in the top 4, top 5 conversation, and I think roster-wise, they'll be fine. They got to just navigate just a few little small things.
I'm gonna say, as long as you got Jimmy, it's probably a way. he gonna get you there. Let's go into another team who's trying to keep themselves top 4, top 5, which is the 5 seed, the Hawks. Hawks playing the 4 seed, the Knicks. Great game 1 as far as like what we talked about earlier about like the NBA is so much better when the Knicks are like here, like Spike Lee on the sideline, jawing at other team's star, and it definitely gave me the Knicks and Pacer vibe again. Like Trae Young, it's getting quiet in here. Like it's awfully quiet in here. Like, I was like, okay, Trae, talk that. First off, that was a terrible defensive last second play ever. Like Gibson didn't want to trap, but he should have trapped, and Frank let him go right by him. But anyway, so Trae Young finished the game. You got Lou Will saying told him don't pass the ball. You win and lose it, so obviously it was a tie game, but bro, what? All right, so you chose Hawks in this series, right?
Yeah, I think Hawks will get this one.
You got 7 or what? You got 7 or 6?
Well, I think they can get them in 6 because they'll be at home in game 6. I think it'll be a tough game 7 in a row. So I think Hawks can get them in 6.
So I got Knicks in 7 because of that reason. Like I feel like either like if Knicks get home court back, which is when it got to win on the road to get it back, go back to 7. That's when it gets like that's the kind of thing I'm looking for, and I really want to go 7 because I want Trae Young to be the villain. Like I want him. I want somebody to embrace the villain role and like make the Knicks hate this player. I live for that. I need that to happen. And Trae Young, had a great game. Bogdanovich hit a crazy shot to tie the game up. Alibert went crazy. Randall had a bad night, which if you talk about regression of the mean, I expected him like to come back out and go crazy. But are you looking for that rivalry again? Like, because like people like hated the Bulls, they hated Jordan, Reggie Miller, And like, I don't know if you want to say Clippers and Mavs are trying to be that a little bit with like Luka versus the Clippers, and like that's kind of how you see a little bit where they try to hurt the guy. Like obviously the '90s is the '90s, but I feel like that like drives that rivalry in basketball, and whether it's the Knicks or Hawks or whether it's another team for the Knicks, like I feel like this is like the perfect team though, because it's not like it's the Brooklyn Nets with KD and Harden. It's so many guys over there versus just a Trae Young where you can hate one guy. I really hope that like Reggie vibe come out at some point. I really hope he embrace that villain.
Rivalries and villains are kind of dead, honestly, man.
Damn.
It's just the nature of the game. Like when you look at prior eras, like you can hate a team or hate a player easier because you've seen that person on that same team, like those same 3, 4, 5, even 6, 7, sometimes 6, 7 guys year in, year out. So like I think rivalries are dead, like
because everybody moves so much.
Yeah, I mean everybody's already friends, so you can't see on court battles outside of just getting buckets. And from a fan point of view, fans be recruiting players just like everybody else, so it's hard to say it's gonna be a rivalry. Like the Sixers and Celtics, like you can see Larry Bird and Dr. J fighting because the Sixers and Celtics were battling every year in the East, and then Detroit started to sneak in. Them and the Bulls, like that's a rivalry because they saw each other like 3-4 years in a row. Mm-hmm. So Celtics Lakers, they played in the finals like 4 times. So it's when you start to see certain teams over and over again, that's when it starts to get chippy and stuff like that. But I think rivalries are dead now. Like LeBron won't go play with Boston, and LeBron and KG probably see each other. They probably just say what up, and that's probably it. Certain stuff like that. Like that's probably like the last I would say like rivalry you'll get, is because LeBron ran into the Celtics so like 4 or 5 times with the Cavs and then the Heat. So that's probably like the last like rivalry you'll see. I mean, you can kind of say Warriors, Cavs, or whoever versus LeBron, stuff like that, but I don't really think Steph LeBron is a rivalry. I just think they're more of just competitors because they both were the game changers of the era. LeBron ushering in player empowerment, free agency movement. Steph changing the game with just unlimited range for threes. So, in the annals of history, they'll be the quote unquote rivals, stuff like that. But I don't think there's anything that's going to be like a rivalry team wise or player wise.
Well, hopefully the Knicks realize that paying Julius Randle is probably what you need to do. Hopefully he has a great series, win or lose, to prove that. You know what I mean? Like you can't do game one all 7 games was however long ago. First off, he'd play like that game 1, he'd probably out of here 4. But it's like you bring Randle, you got RJ Barrett's young, Trae Young and the Hawks, that GM and that coach, they're a young team. You feel like they should be here though, like they had the opportunity to like see each other multiple years before guys start moving. I know John Collins been on the trade block for a while, but as far as your star players, your Trae Young, your Julius Randle, they probably could be here for another 4 or 5 plus years. So that's, I get what you're saying, like because you don't see the same teams, or because KD over here, now he's over here. Kawhi, he was in San Antonio, Toronto, Clippers. Like I get what you're saying, like that's probably why it doesn't be as impactful as it used to be, but after game 1, I'm really like I don't know if you saw like the mayor of New York call out Trae Young, like that I forgot what he said, but like I was like, okay, so they at least they trying to egg on Trae Young. I want him to come out here and like go crazy in game 2 or something, like and like just have that playoff moment that we gonna look back into and say, man, that was a great ass series that both teams put on. So. You might be right about that. The way
the Knicks are just they've been down so bad, like they're just riled up. So like it could be anybody. It could be anybody in this position. They'll be riled up, saying F them and cursing them, all that kind of stuff. So it could have been anybody. I mean, like when Kobe was playing the Knicks, they would boo Kobe, but when he got ready to retire, they honor and respected Kobe because of what he it's that competitive nature of New York and just they've been down the last couple of years, so they're just riled up fan base.
I'm about to say, like, let's just say New York goes to the finals, right? You're talking about they gonna come at Trae Young. That's gonna be fun. He gonna embrace it. Embiid on the Sixers gonna embrace it. And let's say even if it's Brooklyn or the Bucks, like KD gonna talk that trash, that mess, and so will Giannis. and LeBron, like this, like the path forward, if it was to happen, like man, that'd be, the Knicks would be like all up in their crap, and all they get to face all the stars. So you're right though. They just new to it. I guess it's been a while. It's been a while since they got to be rowdy and go at other teams' star when they actually have a chance to win. It's not like they're the 8 seed. You know what I'm saying? Like playing, 8 seed and playing NBA. You're actually home court advantage and you're playing somebody. So that was, but it was fun to watch though. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, we have respect battles, but we don't have any rivalries. Like you have that CP3 Curry, that Dame Russ, that those point guard type rivalries. You have that KD LeBron type thing, or the LeBron Steph, like people that just kind of see each other over time. If they ever get there, Clippers Lakers battle of LA type stuff, but for the most part, I mean, there's really no rivalry. It's just gonna be like tough battles from guys playing each other multiple times.
Are we gonna be robbed of that LA battle? Like, is that ever gonna happen?
At this point, I don't really care if it does or not. Really, I mean, like because even if it happens this year, let's say it happens this year and the Clippers win, it'll still be the LeBron wasn't 100%, AD wasn't this. Like it'll be excuses built in towards that. So if it was last year, well, they were in the bubble, they'll do this next time. So I don't really. When it first happened, Kawhi to LA, Paul George, AD's there.
They don't talk about trash.
It was intriguing.
Yeah,
but I mean, the Clippers are the Clippers. They can't take over LA. It's just not going to happen. Like LA is a Laker town.
It's built in, and it's built in. But you don't even have the right kind of stars for it. I feel like you need a Russ, not a Paul. I mean, like I was saying, like as far as like personality wise, to like egg it on. But they don't have that either. So, let's move on to the Blazers Nuggets. This series is 1-1. Game 3 Thursday night. Pretty much how I expected it to go so far. Dame playing lights out, McCollum playing lights out, and Jokic playing lights out. Like that's the three guys that's probably going to take over this series. I had Portland in 7. And I mean it's really on this. At some point the Jamal Murray absence is going to be felt. I think the Blazers beat the Nuggets a couple years ago to make the conference finals when they beat Spurs. Did they beat Spurs and then beat Nuggets, or Nuggets beat Spurs? Somebody beat the Spurs. They played each other second round.
Yeah, Denver beat the Spurs.
Denver beat Spurs. Okay, so and I think it was Game 7 too. Then Portland and Nuggets I think went Game 7, and Blazers made it out there, and that was with a young Jamal Murray, who was still he wasn't Bubble Murray, but he was on the rise, right? And then you had the following season. And now Jamal Murray's an all-star, but like now you're missing that. You just completely take it out, and at some point that's going to take its toll on Jokic. And you can't do it by yourself. Michael Porter Jr. is playing okay, and I wish he'd take that next step, but he's young. So, you said it. You said it. You was like, it don't matter who they get. Jokic is going home. You already said it, and he gonna get the MVP and probably gonna go home first round. So. I would say, boy, you did it again. Prediction. But what do you see from this Blazer Nuggets? This series, and like how you think it's going to play out the rest of the way.
This is probably the series I'm least interested in, just because.
That's a fact, though.
Because and it's not because of the teams or the markets or the players, anything like that. It's mainly because of just how they play. Like the Blazers are just all offense. They don't play no defense.
Neither one play defense at all.
And then every time. Denver is just gonna be Jokic or bust. So I mean, like I really can't get intrigued by just a strictly offense. I want to see some chess matches. Like he's in the profession. He's one of the 30 guys. So Stotts is you're a coach, so you're one of the 30 in the league, but. I just can't get behind.
Man, come on, bro. I mean, Stotts should have been fired 7 years ago. Like
Stotts he's holding on to that job because every time he's on the block, they make
they ain't go crazy
in the playoffs, and then he get redeemed. So like Mike Malone is I think he's 17-17 in the playoffs, so he's like a 500 record. So I just can't get intrigued by the coaching aspect or like the adjustment aspect. Like game 1. All right, I thought Blazers would win game 1. If I'd have bet on, I'd have picked Blazers, and they did win. Game 2,
I knew Nuggets was gonna win the game too.
Yeah, you like, it's so predictable. Like, okay,
Yeah.
well, they're not gonna drop both at home, and then they were just beating the heck out of them. Then second quarter, Dame goes crazy. He draws it. I think it was like 65-61. And then because the defense so terrible, the lead was back up to 12 in no time, and they never got it back down to single digits. It's like who want to keep watching it?
Yeah, it's going. I don't think it's going. It's going to be games like that. I think. All right, so if it goes 7,
and it's just too much ISO ball. I love Dame, but Dame be ISOing. CJ McCollum is ISOing. Melo's ISOing. Norman Powell ISOing. Michael Porter Jr. ISOing. Jokic on the one passing the ball, getting people involved. So
and he didn't do nothing game 1 as far as passing.
It's just so much ISO ball. Everybody's going one-on-one. Like, you really don't see a lot of coaching adjustments because, I mean, Malone made the best one so far, put Aaron Gordon on Dame because that length is going to bother him. I mean, he still got 42 points.
And 10 assists.
So, I mean, like, it made an adjustment. It made his shots tough for second half.
He pulled it from the logo.
Yeah, he only had 10 second half, but that's the only adjustment I saw so far. I haven't saw Stotts make an adjustment yet.
Well, I mean, what kind of... All right, so if you're talking about a defensive adjustment, what are you going to do? You ain't got no defensive players on your team.
And they got Covington.
That's it. That's it.
Powell plays good defense too.
Okay, Powell's solid. I give you that. But, I mean, but who you guarding? Like, that's the thing about the Nuggets. Like, there's no Jamal Murray to go guard. Rivers and Campazzo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like just slow the other guys down. Like, it make it Jokic your buzz. Like, that's slow everybody else down.
And
that's really it.
So
because offensively, Blazers can get 150, but it's like they just ISO. Everybody's one-on-one. Cancer one-on-one. Don't play no defense. Dame one-on-one. CJ Melo. Everybody's going one-on-one.
I'll say this: the winner of this series is still going to like so. All right, so far we've seen the Lakers and Suns play, and that both teams under 100 points, right? And game two, after the show be aired, we'll see how where that go. But Nuggets or Blazers are going to push the Lakers or Suns to score the basketball because they have to. The pace is just too fast for either team because they can't guard nobody, right? So you're gonna get easy buckets, and they will come down and jack up shots regardless. So that is the only reason why I am excited how the matchups are set. Because no matter who wins this series, when they go against a Laker team or a Suns team who play a slower pace and they both can play defense and they can play different styles, you're gonna see a uptick in like, oh, Davis not, like let's say for example, if like what Davis brings to the table against the Suns, like let's say if it's a B+ A- performance, when he go against the Suns, the Blazers or Nuggets, it's gonna look so overhyped. Like let's say he averaged a hard 20, 25 against the Suns. He gonna get an easy 20-25 against the Blazers Nuggets, but it's gonna look like he's like dominating the series, like where he just saw him last series. Not as much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the only reason why I do like these two teams because it's easy to predict this over every time. Like I won that last night. Like that was this. It was so easy. Like that's gonna happen. Dame gonna score 30. Jokic's gonna have a triple double damn near like every game. So it's kind of like you're right. This is predictable. So game 3, game 4. 2-2 going back to Denver, right?
Like man, the Jazz Grizzlies interest me more. Maybe not mainstream media, but Jazz Grizzlies more intriguing to me than this one, just because of there's some strategy in there. Like it's
Grit and grind. You got the options,
it's some younger, hard-nosed players in that.
Yeah, and these guys. I mean, for what you do, like for McCollum, for Powell, this is fun. This is mellow. This is like, I don't think we can score for 150 and we good. Okay, say less. And like, and if you talk about being predictable, this series is gonna be 2-2 going back to Denver. A crucial game 5. Whoever win game 5 gonna lose game 6, and then it's going to game 7.
Yeah, this one will probably go the whole 7.
Yeah.
On the way it won't go 7 is if the Blazers get up 3-1 on the home split, or they go back to home on the game 6 up 3-2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So that's So, but I'm thinking if it go 2-2, go back to Denver. Whoever win game 5 may lose game 6. Just because, like you said, unless it's Portland to win game 5, Dame probably gonna try to close it out. Because I mean, I'm gonna bet on Dame to get if he up 3-2, he gonna close one of them out at some point. So I feel like I wish Jokic was like more of had that guard with him, Jamal Murray, to go battle with him because Jamal Murray get that 25. Like Damian and CJ ain't stopping it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of crazy. let's move on to that. What you just said about the Jazz, right? So, not really more of the series because I think it's going to be a great series. I think Kendrick Perkins on ESPN said that the Grizzlies are going to win the series. And I think they match up really well. I think all the games this season were pretty close except one. I mean, I think Grizzlies was like within 5 and 2 of them. And that's with Mitchell and both with them. But the Mitchell situation, him being a late scratch, how much thought do you put in this as far as like he's going to be gone from the Jazz? Because you already had the Gobert Mitchell situation happen when COVID happened, and then now you have this and they're not trusting him, and he's a franchise player saying like I'm good to go. Yes, he's playing game 2 or whatever, but you know players. I don't know if you know it. Like realize like it be the little stuff that be holding players like or players be like holding grudges like if that Tim Duncan rumor was true about like his wife couldn't go on planes, if that's a true rumor, that's why he didn't go to Orlando. Like I said, like it be the little things that be making players like not like want to come back. So if that's the case for this situation, like do you hold stock in that? And like Jad, you know, he's like, you know what, I'm out of here. Like y'all just don't trust me. Blah blah. If we go home get round 1 again, like what is there for me to do here?
Just market wise, I don't know what the trade market would be for him. He's not gonna make all NBA. I mean, if he made all NBA this year, his contract would have been that 195, but it's gonna be like 163 instead. So he's not gonna make all NBA. The guard play is just too tough. So money wise, a trade could probably be made money wise, but I don't know who would want to go after him. But right now, I'm not gonna put too much weight into it. I'll need to see how the series plays out, and then if it comes down to something like, well, if Outta played, we would have won a series, something like that, like a 1-game difference, then you kind of start looking at that. But I don't think he's to the point of the Kawhi with the Spurs. But he did bring his own staff to evaluate and work him out, so he does have that aspect going on, similar to Kawhi with the Spurs. But I need to see if it turns into a thing where he don't trust the Jazz staff at all. He feel like they just can't get any better. Like he just gets tired of saying, first round, I can't keep doing this. I want to win. I think he would take it on his shoulders like, hey, we were number 1 seed. I wasn't the healthiest, so let's run it back again. I think more next year is when the heat will really be on. But for right now, I think it's pretty cool because he is a little banged up and he couldn't finish the season on a high note.
No, that makes sense. You're talking about somebody who, you know, when you talk about ranking and shooting guards, I mean, he has that debate where outside of James Harden, is it me? I mean, this season proved it alone. I mean, yeah, he wasn't in the MVP race because it's Utah, but the fact that they can be a 1 seed, before he got injured, they was the best team. You know, with a pretty good, a solid lead over the Suns before he got hurt, but. You know, the injury did rob him of a lot. I think it did rob him of all NBA team. Just because
I don't think so. I don't think he would have made it anyway.
I think
not in the guard spot.
If he wins it, so like, all right, so yeah, I mean, yeah, you got Curry, you got Dame, Luka,
Chris Paul, Booker.
But see, that's the thing. If we're going to reward the Suns 2 guys, right, and you're rewarding Devin Booker. That's what I'm saying. Like you got. I feel like you in that situation, you got to have to take Mitchell because he's the best player.
Like I'm just saying, I didn't even go to the East with Harden and Kyrie, so like I don't think he would have made the guard spot either way. And they all missed games, so like you got to look at everything. So I don't think he would have made. Well,
no, I'm saying I feel like if he didn't get hurt, that's what I'm saying. Like he probably got robbed from the injury. Like him being hurt, kind of like he like you said.
I don't think so.
But if it was already slim,
games too.
If it was already slim, like you're saying, then. You know, I mean, I just feel like you had to reward the Jazz some way. I guess you're rewarding them by giving him $6 million a year. I guess, you know, but yeah, Mitchell's probably, I think, has to force his way out because what else are you going to do there?
I mean, I'm gonna wait till the summer to kind of see how it plays out. Like once the series is done, I'll see what they do in free agency. Then I'll kind of see what he's thinking then, but I don't think right now you really can gauge whether he wants to be out or not.
But see, the reason I said it because it's like, all right, I love the Jazz as far as a team building aspect. When you have, I like Ingles, I like Bogdanovich, what he brings to the table. I like Clarkson off the bench. I like the trade for Mike Conley because you can't sign people to come here. And you hit on draft picks, Rudy Gobert, you hit on Donovan Mitchell. But it's like, at some point, Mitchell gonna realize I can't do it alone. Like what Mike Conley, like I bet Mitchell wished what Chris Paul is what Mike Conley is. Like Mike Conley been banged up, and Mike Conley's a good player too, but I feel like he's past his prime, right? And Gobert's not getting no better. He's not a guy you can go score 20. Like if he had a Davis instead of Gobert or Karl Towns, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like different things that he probably gonna look at around the league. Like, man, I'll be so great over there, or I can do what Devin Booker doing for the Suns. Like, even if it's not true, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what guys gonna think. Like, oh man, if I was with Dame instead of CJ, we would do this, and it's just gonna happen. I feel like it just had to happen because what the Jazz have is the history, right? So Karl Malone had to go risk his keep playing to go to the Lakers. You had Darren Williams had to leave because he trying to win, go to the Brooklyn Nets and all. They had to go other places to go win because Utah Jazz can only go but so far. And they had this great record, and nobody was still saying it was good. Like everybody said, they was pretenders, right? Like, so what's the point? Like, what's the point? What's the point of me being here if we can have the best record by at that point, the best record by a long shot, and y'all still say we're not gonna win no championship? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you might as well go ahead and I don't know where that team, like you said, the trade market is for them or what team would look for them, but you got to do something, and you might as well go and force your way out before it's too late, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that would have to be the case, but I don't think it'll happen right now. That'll probably be something that happen in the summer or going into next season.
I mean, you're right. You're right about the part that with the 1 seed, I got hurt, so that's why we ain't win. That's a good enough excuse to get me to another season. Like that's probably what's going to happen. But
yeah, I mean they went 7. They had a chance to hit it on the last second shot last year in the bubble. Your number 1 seed this year, he got hurt to finish the year. I think next year could be the breaking point here. But this is my third. I'm fully hit my peak, my prime, my third year here, in my prime, and we're not advancing. That's when it'll kind of start to boil over, and you'll kind of see the Knicks or the Heat emerging. That's those teams that go after him.
So I'm asking the same thing. I got asked with the Heat. What if they get blown out in this series regardless? Like, do you think he changed his mind then, or do you think it if they lose 4-1 to the Grizzlies out of 8-1 matchup, man, you lose 4-1 because
I mean a Heat culture with Bam and Jimmy, I think he'll enjoy that. He'll embrace that. I mean, Mitchell's the kind of guy that'll fit in with a Heat organization.
Yeah. So I mean. Mitchell, I feel like we should be looking at that. Y'all listen to this. Y'all heard it here first.
I need to see who his agent is, but I think he could be driven towards New York and Miami because he's in small Utah, and he has the game to be a marketable
big
guy.
Market guy. Definitely.
So New York, Knicks or Miami would be the teams he could probably go towards.
And on top of that, I think, and you probably agree with me on this one, that he probably don't need to be the. He don't need to be the all right. So you probably can agree that probably Devin Booker is probably a better player than Chris Paul right now just because of age. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because Chris Paul way down, Devin Booker's on the way up, but CP3 is the most important, most valuable.
Yeah,
right?
Franchise player and valuable player aren't the same thing.
Right. So I feel like Mitchell's the same way as Devin Booker, to where if you go to New York and let's just say Randall's there, Randall's probably gonna be the most important because he can do all the different. He got a lot of things he can do versus Mitchell, who's a scorer who can facilitate a little bit. You go to Miami, same thing. So, but Mitchell go there, he can shine, like you said. So, yeah, Mitchell, the next star that'd be out, bro. I feel like that's have to happen, and I think
him and Karl Towns is who you guys on watching next for super teams or asking out.
The Karl Towns thing is very very not I would say tricky. But I feel like we all agree, can point it to the Warriors be the perfect spot for him. And is that enough to keep Curry in Golden State? So that's kind of like the next. Yeah, those two guys are the next guys on the list now because to go somewhere. Yeah, you're right. All right, that's our time for today's show. Hey, so we got some for Wildcard. Website going to start bringing out content. We got a lot of contributors to that, so make sure y'all check that out. Be at wildcard.com. The official launch hasn't happened yet, but we're working on that in the background. So make sure y'all subscribe, rate, follow us on the Has-Beens podcast. And we'll see y'all next week. Hopefully some series might be toward the end by next time we get to you. And hopefully we'll see if Julio Jones get traded or not. So, preach with Rashad. Yeah.